Well, all week, lawmakers have been demanding a classified intelligence briefing with the president and his security team. And as soon as one was planned, it was abruptly canceled. Scripps News congressional correspondent Nate Reed is live for us on Capitol Hill. Nate, we know this is something that a number of lawmakers, specifically Democrats, have wanted. Not necessarily their fault it was canceled, but what can you tell us about the status of this briefing on Iran?
Well, look, this is something that lawmakers that arrived on Capitol Hill today expecting to hear from the administration. Some long-due questions, at least from Democrats, about President Trump's decision to engage with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee telling reporters yesterday in a statement that she had not been briefed by the Trump administration in over 10 days. Now, that briefing leading lawmakers to have to wait a little bit longer for that information. Those briefings were postponed earlier today. We now can report in the last couple of moments that the House of Representatives all-member classified briefing has been rescheduled for this Friday. The all-member briefing for the U.S. Senate rescheduled for this Thursday. Again, this all comes as lawmakers are working the big, beautiful bill. But the announcement earlier that these briefings would be postponed, leading to a lot of frustration, specifically from Democratic leadership. Take a listen.
Senators deserve full transparency. There is a legal obligation for the administration to inform Congress about precisely what is happening. What are they afraid of? We were not given, I was given no explanation for this delay. I don't know what Senator Thune was, but they said, well, Hegseth and Rubio will be here Thursday. We're happy to hear them on Thursday, in addition to this briefing, which we think will be far more valuable than hearing from Hegseth and Rubio, who are secretaries and top people and are very good at political talking points.
And as you just heard from my colleague Trent Murray in Tel Aviv, that ceasefire appears to be holding. Again, a lot of questions, though, about the Trump administration's decision to engage over the weekend. Some members of congressional leadership said that they were given a heads up on both sides of the aisle. At the same time, lawmakers say they still have not relieved that more comprehensive security briefing about the reasons why President Trump chose to take that strike.
And Nate, we know that most of the focus from lawmakers, specifically on the Senate side over the next, 10 or so days between now and the 4th of July, is on what we have been calling the big, beautiful bill. Where do we stand with that?
Well, you don't have to just say we've been calling it that. It's the official bill title, Andrew. It's the One Big Beautiful Bill Act of 2025. At the same time, President Trump has made it quite clear that this is a priority for Republicans to get this done by July 4th. He's held quite firm on that timeline. He posted on Truth Social earlier today that no lawmakers should go home until that bill passes through the House of Representatives and the Senate. There is some concern, though, from some Senate Republicans about the members of the, some concern from House Republicans, but members of the Senate effectively jamming them, passing a version of the bill that's unacceptable to members of the House of Representatives, then leaving town, effectively telling Republicans in the House to take it or leave it. That being said, there's also a number of other issues on the table, though, issues that Republicans in the House have with the Senate's version of that bill, specifically changes to the state and local tax deduction and to Medicaid. Take a listen.
Any significant adjustments that the Senate makes, whether it's on SALT or Medicaid, is going to risk the bill not being able to pass again in the House. That's the reality of it. So, we're open to discuss, some minor changes, but some of the things that have come out regarding Medicaid and SALT from the Senate are just going to be unacceptable.
Has Senator Mullen been negotiating good faith with the SALT?
Listen, Mark Wayne's a good guy and is a friend, but the bottom line here is the deal that we negotiated in the House with the House leadership, with the White House, that's the deal. So that's what ultimately is going to be in final passage.
And if it isn't,
trying to jam you guys? I've been very clear about that. If the deal changes and it's not what we supported, I'll be a no.
You might have heard me reference it there, but with Representative Mike Lawler, the Republican from New York, of course, an otherwise blue state, he's been very clear that the negotiations, which the Senate is trying to conduct, one senator kind of serving as a go-between between the Senate and House of Representatives, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, he has been going between the two groups at the same time. As you just heard Congressman Lawler say, he does not want to negotiate the number that they were able to reach in the House of Representatives. Again, a long story short, changes that the Senate might make to this bill could make it entirely unpalatable for members of the House of Representatives. It seems like President Trump is likely going to have to get quite involved here. He already is on Truth Social urging members of Congress to pass this bill even if they are not in favor of bits and pieces of it. Republicans on Capitol Hill have been saying for months that this is not going to be a process where everyone gets everything that they want. Again, trying to temper expectations as this big, beautiful bill barrels toward the finish line, whether lawmakers are ready to vote in it or not.
And Democrats, we know, certainly have not been referring to it as beautiful because of cuts to programs like Medicaid.
Correct.
All right, Scripps News congressional correspondent Nate Reed for us on Capitol Hill. Nate, thank you.